Hello everyone, Holy Skills here, and today
we're going to be going over our big pet snakes dangerous.
And we are joined by Bunny
and Shira. Shira is a tiger motley reticulated python, and she will be 2 years old in May.
I'm pretty sure Bunny is an ultra ivory. She's a Burmese python. She's so sweet. I love her so much.
And before we get into this video, I do want to say we have some updates for this week at the end of this video. And one of those being, we're going to show you the progress. Roxy, our 4-foot Burmese python, her taming. We're going to show you how her taming is coming along.
She's doing a lot better.
She is making progress, so that is good. But we're going to start with any large animal can be dangerous. So cows, horses, large dogs, big cats. I know some people...
I would say large birds.
Large birds, yeah.
Yeah.
Those big cockatoos and macaws, they can get you good.
They can.
So yes, any large animal has the potential to be dangerous.
Right.
Now, what are some things that can make them dangerous?
I think it just depends on the individual. Like, obviously their size can make them dangerous, but again, it depends on the individual snake and just their personality. We have a lot of snakes. We've only had one that's been unpredictable, and I think he might be due to some sight problems. I don't think he can see very well. He's albino, so maybe that might have something to do with it.
Yes, anytime he has bit, it's been in a food response, not defensive. Food response. But yes, I think the biggest thing that makes large snakes dangerous is the size. So with them around your neck, you have to be careful when they're like 6 feet and longer.
I don't think you have to worry as much with Burmese pythons because they're not arboreal. They're not they don't climb trees and stuff like the retics and the boas do. I mean, obviously it's better to handle with caution. Just keep them over one shoulder, but I don't think it's as dangerous as it would be with a retic or a boa.
I have definitely noticed compared to even the retics, the boas have like more of a grip.
They do.
Compared to the retics and the burms. And I've also seen some people with broken fingers from their boas on the Facebook boa page.
Be careful.
I don't see very many deaths caused from snakes, but I've noticed that the few that I have seen, it's been from them around the neck. And then obviously, you know what happens from there. If they get a little too tight, that doesn't mean the snake's trying to kill them. It just means the snake's trying to go get somewhere else.
Yes,
and they're holding on.
If a snake's laying beside you, it's not sizing you up. They don't eat people.
No,
Most of them.
I always have my snakes out. I will have like 3 snakes out at a time sometimes.
I feel like for a snake to attack someone like at random, like in a food response, they would have to be starving, or it would have to be one of those odd cases where, like I said, they're unpredictable, which is not very common at all.
And if you think about it...
And they show those signs like whenever they're, I would say at 4 feet, 4 to 6 feet is when they would start showing if they are unpredictable or not, which is why we recommend getting them as babies first. Unless if you know, like, the breeder and they work with their snakes, like Buttercup. We got her at 10 feet and they work with her and she's very sweet.
And when you think about it, dogs can be unpredictable. There's cats that can be unpredictable. And it's not a common thing. It's uncommon. But it can happen. And you just gotta keep an eye out for those signs. And another thing is if the snake's not worked with. I think that's the biggest thing. If you have a baby snake and it's super hissy and flighty and musk, which is peeing on you to get away, you have to work with them to get them out of that, because they don't just grow out of it.
And I feel like the older they are, the harder they are to tame, because, or at least that's how it's been in our experience. We gotten a couple older snakes, and not like super old, like 1 to 2 years old, and it took me like 2 months to tame my first burm that was a little over 1 year old. And then we recently got another one, Roxy, which we wanted to update you guys about, and she's taking a while to tame.
She's definitely taking time, but she is making progress.
She is making progress. My little babies already tamed. The little babies we got from the expo are already tamed. They're so sweet.
It's so important not to get a snake just because you want, like, you know, some giant snake. Because if you don't work with it, if you don't work with it, then it will be just like 100 times worse. There are some snakes that are friendly from day one.
If you want a giant snake, get a giant snake. Just make sure you're out there wanting to handle the snake and work with the snake so that it doesn't become dangerous.
Because, okay, the point I was trying to make, some people just get them as like they collect them.
It kind of feels like collectibles or something.
Yeah, collectibles. If we want them, they're pets.
Right.
So it's so important to work with them and spend time with them. Mm-hmm. Like whenever the weather's nice, we make so much effort to get our snakes outside so they can get some sun and stretch out.
And even in the winter, we take them out. Like, we have our snake room pretty warm. Work with them a couple times a week. Not as often as in summer because we get to bring them outside and do a lot more with them. But they're all, like, once you tame them, they're, like, tame forever.
Yes. They are.
I mean, unless you ignored them for, like, 2 years or something, then probably they would choose violence.
So, a lot of them, I would say,
defensive.
Out of all the snakes I've gotten, like, most of them have just been friendly since I got them. I've only had to tame a couple snakes.
I've had to tame, I think, all of my Burmese pythons, but the babies, they only took me a couple weeks to tame. Nothing crazy. My retics, also had to tame those, but they didn't take long to tame either because they were babies. So, definitely recommend getting babies over adults. But if you, have experience with larger snakes and you like to tame giant snakes, then good for you.
Yes.
I think that's awesome. Not everyone can do that.
Every snake deserves a chance.
Right.
I do want to talk about a couple factors that can affect your snake's temperament. And this is for all snakes, I believe. When they're going into shed or when they're in shed, they could be hissy and even defensive when they're going in the shed or in shed.
I've not had, for me, with my retics, they get, I would say, whenever they're in shed or if they have to go to the bathroom, my retics get super flighty, my boa and Sumatran get super flighty, and my burms just hiss a lot. They don't bite, but they just hiss a lot.
Most of my retics, they get really shruggy, and my one golden child will actually, like, he kind of, like, vibrates, and he gives me, like, a look like, do not touch me right now. So I leave him alone.
That's the only snake that does that.
Yeah, he's a special case. If you know why, I'm assuming it's because he's like, leave me alone. That's the message I get from that.
She's in your bun.
Yes, she is. She's in my hair.
Wow. But it's amazing.
If you want a big snake, get a big snake.
Yes.
They are low maintenance. I say they're easier to take care of than a large dog.
Yes, and they only, like, whenever they get a lot bigger, then they only have to eat, like, every 3 weeks to, like, every month. Like, once a month. That's it. And they don't go to the bathroom that often either.
Buttercup eats once a month.
The retics definitely go to the bathroom a lot more than the burms. My burms, even the baby burms, they don't go to the bathroom that often. But the retics, I feel like they're always going.
I wouldn't say always, but definitely like a few times, 2 to 3 times a week.
They're higher maintenance.
They are higher maintenance, but
my burms, they have never peed or, crapped on me. And they don't go to the bathroom often. They're definitely my favorite kind of snake.
My retics are usually really good. There's a couple to where I have to wait till I know that they use the bathroom before I take them out because it's just something about being out of the enclosure that makes them have to go.
My burms would never.
And that's why I love taking them out whenever the weather's warm because they will go in the grass.
It is nice.
But so nice.
My burms won't, I don't think they would ever went in the grass. My burms, they only want to go in their enclosure where they're comfortable.
And if it's your first big snake, I always say get a baby. Start with a baby so you can grow together.
Wait, did we go over the males being combative?
Oh, let's.
Okay, so I haven't seen anything about male Burmese pythons being combative during breeding season, but I have heard of male retics being combative during breeding season, which means they want to fight each other. So if you smell like a male retic and then go try to handle another male retic, you might get bit defensively, which is going to hurt really bad. Not defensively, combatively.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think that's that's even worse than a food response bite.
I've heard...
So be very cautious handling them during that season. And like I said previously, I'm just going to say it again. If a male is going to be unpredictable, I feel like it usually shows around 4 to 6 feet. And you want to find that out early.
I've heard every snake acts differently around that time. So there's some males that won't even be phased, whereas I'm sure most of them will either be super shruggy or aggressive, like,
sorry, my phone's just...
combative.
Yes.
It just depends on the individual. Like, we have a breeder size male. I think he's 6 feet now, and he's always acted the same. Then again, we have not bred him yet, so I don't know if that will change him. If you're a more experienced keeper, let us know in the comments below.
Yes, let us know.
And now back to talking about if you're looking into getting a big snake. I would say they're low maintenance.
And if they're going to be unpredictable, it's going to show early.
Yes. Start with a baby so you can learn their body language and grow with them.
Yes.
And there are some special cases, like if it's a really trusted breeder, if you want a big snake, if you want to start bigger, like 6+ feet, and they're like, this is super sweet snake, and you trust that person, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and get a bigger one.
A big enclosure, if you're willing to get a big enclosure and stuff for it, go ahead and start bigger.
Like, obviously, like, the enclosure is going to be pricey, and then their food once a month, I don't think would be... I mean, it depends on, like, your budget. But I feel like they're very affordable once you have everything that you need for them.
Yeah.
Like their enclosure, a water bowl, and a hide.
And we get their food. All of our snakes are on frozen thaw. We get them all from Rodent Pro. I have recently ordered from the Big Cheese Rodent Factory because their rabbits are cheaper. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video. Now we're going on to updates, and we're also going to show you Roxy, how she's doing.
Right.
So I want to talk about... we just started on YouTube Shorts, so if you guys want to check that out, it's kind of, a lot of them will be more how our TikTok is, so snakes with music.
Yes.
As well as some other stuff. We're trying to do some cooking stuff as well, so you will eventually see some cooking stuff on there.
We're doing Bible verse of the week.
Yes, and we'll be doing a Bible verse of the week on there as well.
On Mondays.
Bible study episode 17 will be next week because we are busy. We're going to be helping our church put together John and Romans books for the Bearing Precious Seed Ministries, which is exciting. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's get to Roxy. We'll see you all in just a minute with her. Alright everyone, we are here with Roxy. She is hissing. She may also be camera shy, I'm not entirely sure. But she
this is not her permanent enclosure. She's still in quarantine.
For mites.
Yes.
And also for taming, it's just easier to have her in a smaller enclosure so I don't have to chase her or to get her out or anything. But I do make effort to take her out a couple times a week. And I'm not taking her out in this video. I usually just take it out when she goes to the bathroom, or if she needs, I like to soak them for the dawn soaks for the mites.
And she just needs gloves to take her out. She doesn't use gloves to put her back in to her enclosure.
But I'm just going to pet her for you guys.
Show you that she's not biting the glove and she's not striking through the bin at us anymore.
And first, I'm just going to give her a little pet with the hook so she knows she's not eating like so. And I do use gloves just because she has bit the gloves before. I don't want it to be my hand. She is not super tiny. She's not a baby. So I just stick my hand in there and I pet her.
I mean, she is a baby.
She is a little emotional today.
But as you can see, she's not biting the gloves.
No, she was biting me like every time I stuck my gloves in here. And now she's a lot more, I don't want to say relaxed, but like I said, she hasn't been biting me.
She's now building trust.
She used to hiss and strike the bin every time I walked by.
Yes, she did.
But when she did that, I would just pet her with the gloves every time she did, and now she's stopped.
Yes, she no longer strikes the bin, and she no longer bites the gloves, so we're making progress.
Believe it or not, she does act curious whenever I'm not, you know, don't have her bin open. She acts curious and acts like she wants to come out and stuff. So she is making progress, slowly but surely. Just wanted to give you all an update on how that's going.
Yes.
But that wraps up today's video. We hope you all have a great day, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.